my name's Matthew Howard. I'm the global lead for healthcare data science at Amazon Web Services. I have a few different roles, but one of the main areas I focus on is working with our strategic customers to help them safely adopt and accelerate the use of AI in healthcare.
Super cool. It's great to have you here, Matt, and flown in just for this interview.
Yes.
Which is great.
Back afterwards.
Not productive at all, but we could have done it as a virtual. But no, it's great to have you here. What brings you to HIC?
So here for lots of reasons. So I'm meeting lots of customers with the local team. We have a fantastic local healthcare team. And really, the objective is to help bring some of our global experience and some of the work that we do all around the world and help our customers and our colleagues in Australia get the most from it and really take advantage of some of the cloud services that we're increasingly deploying into the Australian market.
Yeah. Well, tell me a little bit more about, we're all excited about artificial intelligence, Gen AI, and all the opportunities that exist and a lot of potential. Where are you seeing the kind of application and the most bang for buck, so to speak?
Yeah, it's a really good question. I think right now some of the most important use cases are around, to be honest with you, some of the really high volume, relatively low clinical risk use cases. Where can we actually automate and improve productivity? We are running out of people in healthcare. There's no escaping that. So we've got to give our people superpowers. So where can we help with summarization? Where can we automate the generation of discharge summaries? Where can we help with automated clinical coding? These big, high volume, dare I say it, sometimes quite boring use cases, which, there is not a huge clinical risk to them. But if we could automate 10%, we would have a massive impact on healthcare outcomes.
Yeah, let the computers do the computering and the humans do the humaning. That's what we need in healthcare right now. And so you're here up on a stage at HIC. Are you talking a little bit about that kind of stuff?
I will be, yeah. So I'll be talking about some of the work we do both locally, but also some of our global examples as well. So I've run teams that have worked with organisations like Genomics England, where we've been building both fusion AI models, very sort of complex models combining genomics and imaging data for patient stratification potentially. But at the same time, we've been working with them to automate extraction of key information from pathology reports. Because it turns out there's thousands of these reports. If you could do a first pass using an AI, you still get reviewed at some point. It's for research purposes. Again, you're just doing exactly what you just said, which is you're using your people for the really complex, difficult stuff, use the machines for the high volume stuff where you've just got to get through this and as quickly as possible automate its usefulness. Making the structure from the unstructured is a really good use case for computers.
And is that one of the biggest opportunities that we've got right now when I think about something like genomics or precision medicine that requires a lot of data and a lot of processing, and maybe 5-10 years ago, even earlier than that, it could have been a lot harder to do the kind of things that we're doing now. But then if you overlay some of the more of that intelligence to kind of pull in other reference, like you say, the pathology side or other inferences that are giving us more insights than we would not have otherwise been able to do. Am I on the right direction there?
Yeah, absolutely. So in terms of this sort of generation of new insights, understanding disease, improving patient stratification, outcomes predictions, combining different data modalities, so putting genomics data with other data sources like histopathology, for example, we actually worked with Genomics England and showed you could outperform state-of-the-art models. So by combining modalities, you get better outcomes. And it's something that intrinsically feels like it's likely to be true, but actually demonstrating it is another thing. And so we're beginning to see these fusion models, multimodal models coming to the fore. So we talked earlier about sort of some of the more high volume administrative use cases. Now we're heading into the insight use cases. How do we actually get greater insight, really understand disease, build models that in principle could really help with decision support, could really help advise a clinician on what might be an outcome for a patient? Then models where we can combine different data modalities, increasingly we're going to see those.
Interesting. And the role that AWS plays in all of that, I think about, being the power behind the scenes, but I often see, quite front and center and a lot more working directly with health systems too, to really understand what's required. Where do you see the role that AWS plays? Because I feel like partnerships with the software side and the interfaces and things will be super important. How do you think about where AWS fits into that whole healthcare picture? Yeah,
it's all of the above. I think we're effective across the landscape. So yeah, we are foundational infrastructure at our heart, right? That's we're a cloud business, but we have services that are incorporate, I guess, more of the application layer to some degree. So we have technologies where you can access foundation models like Amazon Bedrock, which is effectively a hub for foundation models. You can choose between different models, incorporate those very readily into your solutions. But we absolutely partner with the landscape of independent software vendors. Many of the vendors here work with us extensively. And at the same time, we also, though, need to help those vendors and those partners, as well as our big strategic customers, use these technologies. So one of the ways my teams have worked in the past is effectively we would land members of our team with our customers, and they would run alongside them to help them adopt these technologies. This stuff moves really fast.
Yes.
And it's a lot to keep up with. Yeah. And so we have to help our customers, we have to help our ISVs, as you said. We've got to help our partners to really take advantage of it. And we have some very, very smart people. But you're absolutely right. Accelerating the partner landscape is critical to our success.
And lastly, then, for those that are here at HIC and they catch your session or, catch up with the team over at the booth too, what are you hoping that they take away? Because I think about the Australian landscape right now and some of the health systems and the challenges we face. There might be those that approach it saying, well, I've got a lot of fires that I need to put out right now, Matt. I'm not sure I can think about this kind of forward-facing things. And as you say, it moves so fast and there can be a bit of that overwhelm. Is there things you hope people can take away and kind of practically apply in some of their day-to-day, or at least start to think about moving forward?
Yeah, so I think back to where we started. Think about use cases where you are focused on productivity, where you can take away some of that heavy lifting, what we call undifferentiated heavy lifting in a healthcare space. So clinical coding use cases, summarization, look at organizations like we've talked about. There's a great example in the US called Pieces Technology. They are running summarization technologies on electronic health records, live, real-time AI, generating discharge reports, these sort of use cases. Loads happening that will give, I think, customers an idea of where they can take this. And then the other piece I would say is talk to us. We can help. If it's us just running a workshop, we help with strategy, we help with roadmap, all the way through to, as we've discussed, helping our customers work out how to deploy these technologies or which partners to work with to deploy these technologies.